What's good? It's CADILLAKTRACKZ. Hey, appreciate all the support on my channel. I appreciate everybody interested in purchasing the template recently. I wanted to make some videos going over some of the features of the template, so I'm gonna try to do one. This is a tablet I got, so I'm actually holding it in my hand. It's real big, so it might be a little wobbly, but we're gonna go over a few things on the template. So this is me right now in my room. I should put some stuff out of view. But I got the machine right here. This is my little table. I usually have it on the machine stand, but it's just chilling right now. So it's just relaxing flat on a flat bed. Usually I keep it on the stand over here on the side, but I've taken it off because I can't see the TV when I'm sitting down and I'm trying to watch TV like that. And I got like another TV here because sometimes I watch TV while I'm making beats. Yeah. And I got these two balls. These are stress reliever balls. And I got a little $100. Well, anyway, we're just showing you the room right here. So here I am in front of the machine, and I'm gonna turn my machine on since we have Fruity Loops open. So let's turn it on. As you know, my template comes in 3 pieces. It's a template. It's also a Fruity Loops project. This is Fruity Loops. Might be a little blurry there. And then we also have a machine project. So there's 3 pieces or 3 parts. This is what machine or my machine looks like when I load it up, and you know it's got all the regular functions, and you can see that right here. If I hold shift and I push the MIDI button, which is all the way up there, I can't do it with one hand. I can't do it with one hand. It loads up my template, and here's my template shining blue. And you know my template's loaded up because you have all the different pages of my template. So let's go over these. You know, I showed this in my template video, but I haven't really showed a work. I haven't done this in a while, so this is probably new to a lot of y'all. So this is how we go through the templates. Look how many templates I've made. The original one is called LAC. That's the default template. It has the keyboard in chromatic fashion. So hell, let me just show you this. Let me go ahead and load up an instrument right here. Remember, when I click on my template, I go and I right click and then I go to replace. If I go to insert, it's going to insert the instrument. It's going to be routed to its own mixer channel. These are already routed to mixer channels, so we use replace instead of insert. If I'm gonna load this up like this, I need to, I'm holding this in like one hand. If I am gonna load up an instrument and play it here, I need to drop my buffer down. I don't know why I'm looking over here on the tablet. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop my buffer down. I drop it down to 64 samples. It's about 2 milliseconds, 3, 4. You just wanted to have it as low as possible without the static. That's why it's important to get an interface. So let's say I was to load up my template right here. So we have a template LAC, and I'm just gonna push load. So this is how we do it. We go into the screen right here. This is the one of the screens, I'll say, where it shows you some of the options available. So you push load. All right, it was already loaded, so let's go back to, sorry about that. It was already loaded. You can see that it's kind of highlighted, so I highlighted scales, but I'm gonna go back to LAC. So I push load. Once I push load to close it, I need to hold shift again. And then when I hold shift, as so, it's gonna bring up this option right here. This is one of the second screens. When it brings up the options, I just hold shift and I push the knobs button. So let me try to do that with one hand. All right. So when I push the knobs button, what it does is it loads up that template. All right. And we can see right here it says LAC. So it loaded the LAC template. Each template has different pages. It's real deep. So this is knob page 1 on this template. And it has these settings, you know, the original settings of the template: metronome, snap, tempo, undo, open up the playlist, the rack, the piano roll, the mixer. I hate to go over all that because that's how the video started taking a long time. But remember, my template has a lot of features. It's got the jog wheel, the pattern selector, swing selector, extra menus, maximize, exit window. And this last one over here, which is channel effects. You push that button and it pops up all the effects on the mixer channel selected. And then the blend record open, you know, if you want to record the notes and have them overlap and overdub or not, and you can just select it like that. A lot of these knobs are touch sensitive, remember, and the room is so dark you can't even see nothing but this black machine. All right, so once we load this, the keyboard on lax is in chromatic order, so let's play something. Yeah. And let me load up a little piano. So yeah. That sounds just horrible. But yeah, this is how it is, and it's in chromatic, so. Why don't I load up my piano that I always play? Since we're... All right, so here I am on Nexus, loading up some patches. Let me turn it down a little bit. So yeah, the keyboard in lax is in chromatic. That's what lax is for. So if you have the template and you're looking at lax, lax is for the chromatic keyboard. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. I'm trying to keep this video short. Sorry about that. And then let's go ahead and open up another template. And if you play the board chromatic long enough, you'll start to memorize certain patterns or way to play chords. I think one of them is like... All right, so anyway, this is a chromatic keyboard. Over here, these are the octaves, so I can go down and go down to a lower octave. So I have the whole keyboard mapped out on different octaves. It takes a long time. That's one of the big things about my template. You see that there's a lot of buttons, but we'll go over them later. But right now we're just going over the different pages. All right, so I'm gonna hold shift and I'm gonna bring up the menu to select another template. So I'd hold shift and I would click right there where it says knobs. I'm sorry. Hold shift and then I click where it says templates up there. So when I hold shift, it brings up templates and I click that far right. Then it brings up my templates right here and it's back to the template screen. So when it brings up my templates, I can go in. These other templates are basically the scales mapped out on the piano keys. We have the A scale, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. Wow, this thing is fuzzy. We have all these different scales right here and everything's lit up on the piano. So I guess we could try one just so you see what I mean. So this will be the F scale. Remember when I want to load it up, I select it and then I push shift, knobs. Let me try to use two hands. All right, so I went ahead and I pushed shift knob. It loads up. I know it's loaded up because it says up there in the top left, scales, F. You can see that right there. And now this should be in the F scale. And you can see that the way I color coordinated it, I had it to where every octave, there's a different color. So they're all blue and then every octave it's turquoise. So it kind of helps you a little bit. And there's 3 octaves. But yeah, so that's just the F scale, and it gets real fun and creative when you got different sounds and you're going up different octaves and you're doing different things. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open up something else. So I'm gonna go to shift, I'm gonna push templates, and we're gonna go, and this is real important to be able to play the scale mode like this when you're loading up Fruity Loop instruments. That's the whole point of the template, you know, because when we have an instrument, we want to use our pads, and we weren't able to do that unless we loaded it as a VST inside a machine, and then we had to use the machine features. This way, we're just using Fruity Loops, and my template has a lot of features that are editing features, like I can edit notes, I can, you know, undo and copy and paste, and just a lot of stuff like that right here from the machine hardware. set up like this. So it's real hands-on, and at the same time I could still play it on my keyboard if I wanted to. Ooh. Yeah, real dirty. So let's go back here, right here to the scales. I'm gonna push shift and we're gonna go into templates. All right, so here I am in the templates right here. I'm gonna go down, and I'm just gonna show you some more key features of my template. Besides all these pages, every time you load a page, for example, like the last page we loaded and the next one I'm gonna load up. Matter of fact, I'll just load one up real quick, the G scale. Then I go to shift and I push knobs. Every time I load up a different scale, the scale lights up on the pads, but I still have these pages with all the options. So my options for the playlist, to open the channel rack at a button, the piano roll, the mixer, all those options are still available, along with the editing, the metro, snap, tempo, undo. And remember, this is all page one, and remember you got these buttons right here. You got to watch my videos where I go over the template in detail so you see all of this, but remember that we can go over and we can switch the different pages, have different options. On page 2 we had the volume level for track 17 all the way up to channel 24. That's why we have tracks 17 through 24 selected right here. One moment here. All right, I just paused the video, but I'm back. So I was going over the volume for 17 through 24. That's why we have up here track 17 through 24 linked. That way, if I move the knobs as so, the volume knob for track 17, if you look closely, you'll see the volume on track 17 going up and down. This is the volume knob for the channel rack. This is the original volume for any plugin or VST. It's the first in the signal path of the chain. Oh, it's blurry. All right. So yeah, that's page 2, and then remember you can go over to page 3. Remember we have MIDI functions such as reverb, tremolo, chorus, portamento, sustain, legato, pedal, and these are MIDI, universal MIDI commands. So depending on what VST or device you have open, if you use this function, it will send it to either that plugin, could be an external. I mean, if it was routed that way, it could be an external, it could be a plugin, it could be a VST, but a lot of the VSTs still accept the global controller, the continuation controller, the CC command for reverb and tremolo. In fact, I know for one, there was one VST, or there's a few that when you move those knobs, it's going to actually activate the VST's reverb or tremolo because it accepts it as the universal reverb or tremolo. And then the sustain and legato, those are all universal. So almost any plugin or anything you're using, you can push that. That's how we use the pedal without a pedal. So if you don't have a pedal, push the pedal button right here on my template. It'll help to sustain the notes just like the legato and the sustain will. All right, so that's page 3, and then go over here to page 4. Page 4 is empty. You see, the reason page 4 is empty is because we want a page to where we're able to link up different effects on our Fruity Loops hardware. For example, if I was in here or whatever and I had this EQ right here and I want to link this EQ to a controller, I can go right here. I can go to link to controller. I don't know why I'm doing this. But yeah, I linked it to this controller right here. And now it's linked to this controller. This control or this setup is now going to save. When I close Fruity Loops, it's going to save that configuration every time I open this project. It's going to save it on Fruity Loops. I don't have to save the projects on machines. That's another thing I should mention to y'all. A lot of times when we're making the beat, we don't actually, it's not necessary to actually save the project to machine because it actually saves into Fruity Loops. That's the master, and it's saving everything that we print. All right. So, all right, that is the different pages. Remember, every different template has these different pages. That's how you can see where it's very complicated to actually set this up because you got to just account for each page being the same and all that. But you don't have to worry about that. I went down here and since I had all the scales, I still needed to have like a major scale, right? All these scales are in minor. So all my scales and the pads are set up in minor. So it would have took a long time to do all the majors, but I do have a major scale, which is C. And it's important that we at least have one because as long as we have one, I can open it up and I can play the C major scale. I could play that C major scale, but then I can, what was I gonna say? I can play the C major scale, but at the same time, I could transpose it. Like if I was, like for example, I'm playing it right now on this little VST plugin, you know? And there's a lot of ways we could transpose it. I think one way I could transpose it right now, the root note is on C. If I changed it over here to whatever, then I think I did that right. Actually, I'm not even looking at the instrument. I'm on insert 18. So if I went to 18, you know, this plugin right here, and I went to the keyboard, and I could change the root note. You know how we do. So I could change the key. I could still play major on my template using the 16 pads, you know, just by transposing on the VST. It's not mapped out with all the octaves. As you can see on the major scale, it's only one octave. All right. And so since I took that into account, we went ahead and we put also the blues scale, the pentonic scale, the Aeolian scale, the Dorian scale. All right. And so we're coming to the end of the video. I'm sorry it's so blurry. I guess it wouldn't be blurry if I wasn't moving around so much. All right, so we have some more features, and these are great features I put into the template. You buy in the template, take time to acknowledge these features. They're really the most important. We have this template mode called triggers mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and load that up real quick. Triggers mode. Okay. So I'm gonna go to templates. Sorry, I tried to load it up, but I did it wrong. So I click it over triggers, and then I go to knobs. Actually, I need to go to templates, go over the triggers, click the load button. I didn't click the load button, so. And then after that, shift knobs to close the menu. All right, there it is. When the triggers mode is selected, you can see that right here. It says kick, 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 snare 1, 2, 3, 4, hi-hat 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what it is. It's triggering all those sounds right here on the pads. So let me show you something, my friend. I guess I could show you this real quick. With the triggers mode enabled, there is one thing, important thing that you have to do to enable it, and it's just a little advanced Fruity Loops. If you go right here to the Omni preview channel, as you know, that's how we would preview MIDI. So I'm going to set that to 1. Once I set that to 1, I could open myself up a drum kit, and well, hell, I'm not even gonna go any further than this because it shows you right here. We can see that the pads are all linked up. If I start, you can see right here where I have these linked up. These are different drum sounds. These trigger different drums from Machine. And as you can see, as I start to play the pads like this, I'm triggering multiple channels simultaneously. Look at that. If these were loaded up as a drum kit, like I could have done real quick, it would be playing the whole drum kit as I'm finger drumming it. Right now, simultaneously, 16 sounds because I'm pushing the pads like so. Then from there, I could record it into Fruity Loops. If I pushed record, it would record the notes as little dots, okay? If I set it up to record with the quantization on, and I set the quantize to step mode, it would therefore record to every step. And if I set that to 16 steps, it would start to record the notes right here into the step sequencer as dots, like so. So I could finger drum and record right into the playlist, or I could finger drum and record right into the piano roll. As I'm finger drumming, 16